Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. Okay, so let me get all this other announcement stuff out of the way. All right, Shahida's new book. I think I'm saying her name right. I haven't spoken to her in person. I hope I'm saying it right. Her new book, this is not her new book. This is her old book. Her new book is coming out October 20th, and you can pre-order it on Amazon. And she's amazing, and I love her. And she does the best memes, and I borrow them all the time, and I give credit to her. So she's having her new book coming out on October 20th. Susanna Quintana at SusannaQuintana.com. So she is the author of You're Still That Girl. This is available in bookstores. I believe it's also available on, maybe it's not available on Amazon. Oh crap, I don't know. But anyway, it's available in bookstores. She is the person to speak to if you are outside of the state of Arizona. So I've gotten a lot of people going, but can't you just do video conferencing and stuff like this? Technically I could, but I really don't want to piss off the Arizona, board. So no. So unfortunately, no, I can't do that. So, but Susanna can. She can go across state lines. She can go internationally, the whole thing. She is a abuse recovery expert. She's been there, done that, bought the playbook because, yeah. So she's your girl. So it's SusannaQuintana.com. So there is that. And if you are going through a divorce or a breakup, Splitting by Randy Krieger and Bill Eddy. Amazing book because it basically says everything I've been talking about, which is they will do this, they will do that, they will gaslight, they will lie, they will manipulate, they will smear, they will use the kids as pawns, they'll do, so basically it's letting you know how exactly they're going to behave when you're going through a divorce, or custody hearing. So great book, get it. All right, so there is that. And if you are going to ask questions, please put question in front of it so that admin knows, what's a question and what's just you guys talking. So, all right, okay, so today's topic is detachment and letting go. So I think this is a topic that people often get very, very, very confused on. And there was a meme that I posted or an article that I posted that kind of explained the difference between, letting go and, really not letting go and torturing yourself. So no, it wasn't a meme. It was somebody wrote in. Oh, that's what it was. So underneath one of the memes that I posted, maybe it was the advertisement for this show, but they said, well, here's what the definition of detachment is, and it just broke my heart. But then I saw other definitions of detachment, and that's exactly what I want. And so it's like, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but here we go. So when we think of detaching, we, in our little minds, for some reason, we think that that means not caring. We think that that means absolutely, not caring. Like I don't care, like there's no empathy. There's no, that is not detaching. That is also not letting go. So how do I explain this? Detaching is the ability to observe, and to quote, I think it's Ross Rosenberg, observe but not absorb. So in other words, you're able to see what's going on and not take it personally. And that is where the targets of abuse really get foobarred by the narcissist, because everything is a personal attack. Everything is like you guns, right? So we get into this very, very, very bad habit, whether we've learned it from our family of origin or whether we've learned it from an abusive lover or romantic partner or boss or whatever, to take things personally and believe that they are about us. Now, it feels like it. How can it not feel like it when they're sitting here in our face going, the you guns? But the thing you have to remember is that every you statement, remember, there's 2 fingers pointing out, there's 6 pointing right back at them. They are projecting. They are vomiting their bullshit all over us, okay? So detaching is being able to observe it, not absorb it, like Ross Rosenberg talks about, and though recognizing this has nothing to do with you. This is all them. The second you hear a you statement is when you need to be able to go, and I'm just going to observe it from over here, shields up, phasers on stun, possibly kill, and not allow the bullshit to come in and impact who I am. So I know this is a big thing. So in Buddhism, it's attachments that cause suffering because we assign meaning to people, places, and things. We do. That's what causes suffering in Buddhism. It's kind of the same thing in psychology. So we assign a meaning as to who we are based on how this other person is treating us, right? So in working with parental alienation, and this is a tough one. This is, I hate people that do the parental alienation. I really do, because they're using the kid as a pawn, they're harming the other person, and they're just causing so much damage. So what oftentimes ends up happening with parental alienation is the kid is used as a pawn. The abuser will marry another abuser, like either a malignant borderline or a malignant narcissist or a minor narcissist. And then they will get the drama triangle going, right? And they'll use the kid to hurt the other parent. And often, not always, but often, they will be able to manipulate that poor little kid into going with them and believing them, which leaves the other parent devastated, right? So in working with the devastated parent, I've had to teach the concept of detaching. And when I said that, they came unglued, which normal, because in their mind, detaching meant no longer caring. No. That's not what detachment is. You can still care. You can still have compassion. However, you are no longer the mom or the dad or even a dad or a mom. So it's moving them and you into a different place in your heart is what detachment is. It does not mean you don't care. It does not mean that you no longer love them. And I don't know, I can hear people's minds, everyone just going, and I'm like, well, okay, hang with me on this one. So in other words, we've assigned who we are based on a role that we've played. We've been the mom, the dad, whatever. But when a narcissist comes in and pulls the parental alienation, takes the kid away, because what do they usually do to do parental alienation? Well, they smear campaign the other person, right? And because they do this too, they also make gifts to the kid that are irresistible to a teenager. Think about it. I mean, what kid wouldn't say no to no rules? What kid wouldn't say, what kid would be, not willing to go with somebody who's like, oh, there's no rules. You don't have to do chores. You don't have any responsibility. I'll buy you a car. You can have your boyfriend or girlfriend sleep over. I don't care if you're having unprotected sex. I mean, seriously, that's what I see them doing in order to pull the kid away. So when the kid goes, because that is often the case, because kids don't understand that they're being manipulated. They don't understand that really healthy parents are the ones that lay down rules and boundaries, right? But for a kid with a narcissistic parent, with a narcissistic step parent working on them, they're going to be telling them, oh, well, they're too strict. They're too restrictive. This person over here is making it an unreasonable request that you be in before midnight when you're 14. Do you see where I'm going with that? So when the kid leaves, this parent then has to move the relationship with the child into a different place because they are no longer in control or they no longer have influence over the child. And that is because of the narcissist and the step narcissist is what I like to call them. So the parent then has to move that relationship into something different. Instead of being the mom, the dad, they then have to think of themselves as, I am a mentor and I am here if they need me. I am no longer the mom, the dad. Because then what I've seen is that the narcissistic parent and step parent will brainwash the kid to the point where the kid starts calling either the stepdad or the stepmom mom and praising them for all these wonderful things that actually this parent did, and it's crazy land again. And so if you do not detach yourself from that, and Continue to try to work with the kid, continue to keep the door open. But if you do not detach yourself from that, you will drive yourself absolutely batshit crazy. You will, because you'll be banging your head again and again and again, trying to change this. You can't, especially if they've maneuvered it so that the kid is completely brainwashed and thinks that they're great and you're the Antichrist. You have got to change the way you think about the relationship. And this goes if we reverse the whole situation. So let's say you're an adult child of very narcissistic parents. We are told our whole life growing up, well, you're the daughter, you're the son, you are this, right? So when we start detaching from abusive narcissistic parents, we too have to move ourselves into a different thing. No, I may be the biological product of these people, and that is not the sum of who I am. Am I going to keep the door open? Probably not. And that's okay. So in other words, detaching is no longer making who we are mean, like I am the daughter, I am the son, I am the mother, I am the father. It's like, nope, I'm a human being, and I am either going to keep the door open, like in the case of a child, or I am going to close the door in the case of abusive parents because I am getting damaged being around them. So we have to change who we are, and we have to detach from that whole societal thing of you are the son, you are the daughter, you are the mother, you are the father, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that does not mean you stop acting as such parent, but you have to get yourself thinking in a new way. So this is really weird, but here's the deal. Okay, so it's a grieving process. It's very, very, very extremely similar to when somebody dies. But the problem of it is that our abusers are still alive. Or there's a kid out there that's been a pawn that's still alive. It's similar, but it's different. You move them into a different place in your heart. It doesn't mean you stop caring at all. When somebody dies, we don't stop caring. We don't. When we've been abused by an abuser, there is a part of us that is always going to love who we fell in love with. It's just the way our brains work. We recognize it's like, okay, that wasn't the real them. That was an illusion. That, the real them is not lovable. But, there's going to be that part of us that was like, wow, I really liked this, or I really enjoyed this. That's normal. So it's a grieving process, and we have to move ourselves and them into a different part of our heart so that they're not able, and we aren't able, to beat ourselves up with the emotions that we have around that. We're still going to have the emotions, but we still have to remind ourselves, it's like, okay, I am not the friend anymore. I am not the girlfriend anymore. That's not who I am. My role has changed. Does that make sense? And it's detaching. Instead of desperately clinging to that role and wanting so badly to make that role work, we've got to be able to step away from it because it has changed. When a narcissist does the devalue and discard phase, it is so devastating. Because they've gone from, the mask is up and then the mask slips, and they go from I love you, I love you, I love you, to you're terrible, you're awful, you're horrible, you're wrong, you're bad, you guns. And we're shocked, right? Because we didn't see it coming. We didn't expect that to happen. And we start clinging to what role we had with them. And of course, there's the trauma bonding that's going on. So detaching is also being able to recognize the trauma bonding and not participating in it. So detaching is you're going to have those emotions for that person. There is always going to be a part of you that is always, always, always going to love your child, no matter what they do, right? However, if they are another narcissist, another malignant borderline, caught up in the whatever, you cannot continue to cling to that role of I'm the mom, I'm the mom, I'm the mom, I'm the mom. The harder you try to cling to that, the more the kid is going to slip through your fingers. So what you want to do is you want to take your fingers off of it and you want to go, okay, I'm here if you need me. You got my number. I'll give you my advice and we'll have communication when you want. And if you want to go to therapy, great. But as long as that child is in with the abusers, that kid's probably not going to take you up on the therapy. So because the abusers don't want that to happen. Or if the kid does, they're going to demand that the kid respond back and tell them everything that's going on, and they'll try to interfere with fixing that relationship, which is why it's really important that you start detaching. It does not mean you don't love them. It means that you are moving them to a different part in your heart. You still have compassion for them. That was the other thing I got was, but I'm a healer. I'm an empath. I have compassion. That's just who I am. Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. That is who we are. Absolutely. However, we have got to stop participating in idiot compassion. So true compassion is where you can look at a person and go, whoa, that is fucked up. I see why you are the way you are. Holy cow. I see all these maladaptive behaviors, and I'm not going to try to fix you. I mean, I've already offered therapy and that's as far as it's going. Thanks for playing. Here's the boundary. So that's compassion, right? Idiot compassion is where we go, whoa, I see why you're so messed up. I see all these maladaptive behaviors, and I'm going to love you into health. I am going to fix you. No, that's idiot compassion. You cannot fix somebody that does not want to be fixed. And it's really frustrating because a lot of times the abusers are assholes in the beginning. Help me, especially if they're covert. Help me. And of course, because we have that compassion, we're like, oh, here, let me ride to the rescue. No, you want to start detaching from that. You can have compassion. You want to be able to offer help without the outcome being attached to who you are. Let me say that again. You want to be able to offer help without the outcome being attached to who you are. So a lot of us as survivors of abuse, we are very codependent. We are. And we attach our ability to be a good person as to whether or not we can fix that other person. That is not how it needs to work. We need to fix ourselves. We need to be able to offer help, but not be attached to the outcome, if that makes any sort of sense. So that is a big thing with us, is the codependency. And that's another thing that is why detachment and letting go is a really good idea, because we're not now attaching our self-esteem to other esteem to how this is going to turn out. And with parents, it's a little bit harder because this is our kid, right? Oh my God, my kid has gone with the abusers. Holy shit, I've failed. I've this, I've that. No, you haven't. You did the best you could with what you had. You had 2 malignant narcissists or 2 malignant borderlines, or a malignant narcissist with a malignant borderline, using the drama triangle. Remember, drama triangle: hero, victim, brain gone, hero, victim, audience. No, hero, victim. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's always takes 3 people. And so when they've got, a drama triangle going on, they're the hero. The kid is the victim. You're the villain. That's it. Hero, victim, villain. Brain. So they always need a triangle of that. And they will always pit the other parent that they've alienated as the villain. Always. No matter what. Even if the parent is the best parent on the face of the frickin' planet, they will spin it so that the other parent is always evil and bad and wrong. And when the kid is under that thrall, and I've often had people, go, oh my God, how come my child can't see this? Children and adults will take it out on the safer parent. Those guys are not safe. They'll play the game in order to get through, even though it doesn't make sense, even though it would make more sense that the child would stay with the safer parent. They've got their own issues going on, trying to please the unpleasable, and they're trying to stay safe, and they're part of this triangle, and you're the safer target. Because if they turned around and told stepmom, stepdad, whoever, narcissist, stepdads, narcissist, stepmom, whatever, the truth, they would come unglued and punish them. So they too have got inner child stuff going on, which is why it's so important for us to detach, still love them, still offer support. We're always here. You can come in, you shut the door, but you don't lock it. So that's kind of that. All right. And letting go. All right. So in grieving, we're grieving, guys. We are grieving. I cannot say this strongly enough. When we leave an abusive relationship, when we've lost a child to an abuser, when that child has turned their backs on the good parent and gone off with the abusers, we are grieving. So you must must honor the grieving process, which means you allow yourself to process it through. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Get it out of your head, get it onto paper. Burn it. What needs to be said? What doesn't need to be said? What would you like to have be said? Also, when they turn 18, is there a letter that you would like to write to them to give to them when they are legally, not under the auspice of, I think I just used the right word, of these people. And oftentimes, here's the funny thing that I see happening is the kid will be influenced to go with the abusers, right? The second the kid turns 18, they kick them out. Get a job, you're this, you're that, you're worthless, you're taking too much time, blah, blah, blah. And if the surviving, the good parent has not kept that relationship going in some way, shape, or form, the kid feels completely loose, like there's no anchor kind of thing, which is why you always want to keep the door not locked, because you never know. Because oftentimes what I see those parents do is, you need a job, I'm not going to support you, you're wasting your time going to school. They sabotage the school, they sabotage the job, they don't want them living with them, they're a burden, this, that, and the other thing. So when we are letting go, when we are grieving the loss of someone, that does not mean we stop thinking about them. It does not mean we stop loving them. But what it does mean is we move them into a different area of our heart. And it's the same thing when we are letting go and when we are grieving and detaching from a toxic situation. So it's the same thing. You're going to do letter writing. You're going to do letter burning. You're going to journal. You're going to decide what needs to be said, if anything needs to be said. You're going to decide if there's a letter you want to send to the kid when they turn 18. You're going to, there's all sorts of stuff. So, but you don't just, it's not, it would be so much simpler if we could just be like, boop, done, not thinking about them. It's done. It's over. Really what detaching is you're just moving everything into a different area. That's all it means, and you're not taking it personally. So for the parents that have been alienated, it's very, very difficult to not take it personally, because these two people over here have been attacking your parenting skills the entire time, right? So that's why it's important to kind of go, you know what? I know who I am, and parenting with that jerk over there, female or male, is never going to work. I can't parent with them. They've basically brainwashed the kid, and I am no longer the mom, the dad. I am a mentor. I am here if they need me. And you just start detaching that way. Is it difficult? Yes. Does it suck? You betcha. Is it fair? Hell no. It's not. And I wish to God more courts and more therapists would recognize when parental alienation is being done. And it can be done by both men and women. So it's not just, moms that are doing it. It's dads that do it too. It can be same sex. It can be polyamorous. It can be whatever, so it's hard because our court systems don't recognize that. And it's hard because we seem very invested in our society in there has to be a good guy and a bad guy, instead of, oh, okay, well, this person who's pretending to be the good guy is really not. And the one who's being painted as the bad guy really is not either. So, it's a thing. So detaching, why do attachments cause suffering? Again, because we assign who we are based on what we've decided. So if we go, my worth is based on whether I can save this child or whether I can save this person, and they don't get saved, then we decide that we're horrible, awful, terrible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And our self-esteem goes, and it's all codependency. So the people who have the hardest time detaching oftentimes have a lot of codependency issues. So my suggestion for that would be to read The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, read anything by Pia Mellody, read Codependent No More and Beyond Codependent No More by Brain Melanie. Oh, I did not get enough sleep last night. Anyway, you'll know who it is. I have the list. It's on my Facebook page. Sorry. So yeah, so you want to read Codependent No More, Beyond Codependent No More, and read up anything on codependency. Your self-worth is no longer dependent on whether or not these people get better. It's no longer dependent on whether or not your child comes back, because they've had a lifetime of gaslighting, lying, manipulation, rewriting history, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And remember, we we do this, the kids do this, we tend to want to please the abuser. It's that people pleasing thing, and we want to stay safe, so we will turn our back on the safer parent and go with the abuser in an effort to gain that love, gain that acceptance. And these people are never going to accept you, never going to be pleased, never going to be okay. And that's oftentimes when the kids turn into young adults. That's oftentimes when they go, oh shit, this was fucked up. Maybe I want to start talking to mom over here or dad over here and see what's going on. So detaching is not attaching your self-worth to the outcome of anything, basically. It's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to save them. You have to change your role. Who are you? Who are you? Now that they've taken your kid away from you, now that they've told you that you're a horrible, awful, terrible person, who are you really without their input? So it's detaching, and it's separating out what is their crap and what is our crap, and separating out what is other esteem and what is self-esteem. The people who fall the most for attachments are people who have very fragile self-esteem, because they get their esteem from others. They get their esteem from other people going, you're a good person, you're a good mom, you're a good dad, you're a good, date, you're a good romantic partner, you're a good worker, you're a good whatever. And so they rely too heavily on the other esteem. And when that other esteem goes away, that's when all the pain and suffering happens. Instead of knowing who we are, rock solid, like sun comes up in the east, I know who the hell I am. And that's great that you're giving me compliments. But if the compliments went away, I'd still be okay. That's what you want, that kind of detachment. Does that make sense? So to work on self-esteem, again, I would suggest You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I would also suggest the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. That would be another really good book, because you need to have a rock solid knowing of who you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise, because narcissists and abusers in general will come in and try to tell you who you are. And then you become attached to that, and then they take it away, and then we are devastated. So it really is a practice of you are not what you think you are. And detachment is not what you think it is. It's not caring. In fact, we do care deeply and greatly. We are just being able to observe, not absorb, and we are able to recognize that this is their stuff and here's my stuff. And, oh, okay, well, this is going on. I am needing to change my definition of who I am in regards to the world, or in regards to myself, or in regards to whatever else. So anyway, so that is detachment. Detachment is not no compassion. It is no idiot compassion, and it is boundaries, and it is recognizing what is theirs, what is yours, who are you really? Is it other esteem or is it self-esteem? So there that is. Also, I just wanted again to say SusannaQuintana.com. SusannaQuintana.com can go across state lines. She can go across international lines. So she is the person to talk about that. There's also Sarah Picaro, if you're interested. She's at rewriteyourlife.com. So it's re-write-your-life.com. So Sarah Picaro is also well-versed in abuse and abusive situations and things like that. Okay, let's hit the questions. Hang on, let me get over there. Okay, is it normal to feel grumpy when you start to let go and rearrange yourself or your world or your worldview? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Because it's fear. So think about it. Anger, grumpiness, anger is the bodyguard of fear and sadness. It is. It's like if somebody's angry, I can guarantee you they're fearful, usually, or sad, and they're trying to protect that soft underbelly. So yeah, when we start to let go and rearrange our thinking and rearrange our worldview, it is terrifying, or it can be. And yeah, we do get really grumpy, because it's kind of like, well, God damn it, why can't they just figure it the fuck out? It'd be lovely if they could. They can't. So, and we get angry because it's like we're making it mean something that they're not changing, that we're having to change, and they're not changing. So the way to reframe that is you are flexible. You are able to change. That is fantastic, because narcissists cannot make them. So the ability to change is beautiful. Acknowledge the fear. Am I fearful about having to change? Yes, I'm having to change my thought patterns. I'm having to change the way I think. I'm having to change the way I think about this person. I'm having to change the way I think about myself. Okay, so what is it that I'm fearful of? Write it out. Get it out of your head. Get it onto paper. Figure it out. What is it that you're fearful of? What is going on? Is letting go a process where you go down before coming up, usually. Yeah, absolutely. So think of it this way. We as human beings really hate change. We do. We are creatures of habit. We really love things to be status quo because it's safe in our little brains and our little kid brains. But the reality of it is the only things that are for certain in this life are death and taxes. So everything else is up for grabs. So it really is almost that we have to like get to that rock bottom, just like an addict, before we finally go, okay, that's it. I'm letting go. I'm giving up. I'm changing. I'm letting go of these old thoughts and I'm allowing myself to experience this new thing. And then once we get there, it's kind of, I know I keep referencing Ozzy Osbourne because he's my new obsession. So in Jack and Ozzy's world tour, or Ozzy and Jack's world tour, they would always ask Ozzy to go do something fun. And he would always be like, no, 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 I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. And then, come on, Dad, come on, let's go. Okay. And then he'd go and then he'd have a great time. But he would work himself up into a frenzy, convincing himself that he wasn't going to have a good time. And then he'd go and he'd have a great time. And then come back and be like, I'm so glad you made me do that. You know? So that's kind of what we do. We go, no, 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 no. Okay. You know, and then we go and then it's like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. Okay, you know. So it's just our nature. And some people are more stubborn than others. So, you know, and less excited about change. And I think that is a way that's a great question. I'm really glad you brought that up. I think that's a way to reframe things. Instead of looking at it as fearful, I look at it as an adventure. Well, this is an adventure. Never done this before. Holy crap. What's around the next corner? Okay. You know, and there is a little bit of fear there, but if you keep convincing yourself, I hate to say it, it's true. How you say it is how your brain starts processing it. So if you reframe it as, this is an adventure, I'm getting to find out who I am. This is an adventure, I'm getting to find out where I am in this world. This is great, you know? And I could hear everybody going, bullshit, Chris. But no, it's true. I swear to God, this is cognitive behavioral therapy. This is what it is. It's changing our thoughts and reframing how we say things because our subconscious is listening. Our inner child is listening. And if you tell a little kid, this is great. Let me give you a great example. So at Disneyland, okay, at California Adventure, there's the Ferris wheel, right? And there are some cars that are, you know, stable. They don't rock and stuff. And then there are other cars that swing back and forth. Well, when we went there, we accidentally got on one of the ones that swung back and forth. And so it was a little scary. And I was with one of my nieces, one of my great nieces, and she started to get scared. And instead of joining in on the fear with her, I was like, oh, this is great. And by the end of it, you know, she was like, oh, this is great. I really like this, you know, and it's all in how you frame it. It's like, this is fun. This is great. Look, those people don't get to swing. We get to swing. This is awesome. You know, internally, however, I was like, holy mother of God, get me the fuck off this thing. Oh my God. But I did not let her see that. I did not, because I knew if I showed her fear, she would be terrified. And I wasn't about to do that to her. So instead, I reframed it. It's like, hey, this is something we've never done before. This is awesome. This is what a great thing. And we had a great time. So, but it's the inner child inside of us that we have to be talking to and convincing that it is a great time. And it really is. Honestly, when we got off of the Ferris wheel, she wanted to get back on and do it all over again. And I was like, oh my freaking God, okay. So, you know, so it's how we say it is how we perceive it. Let me say that again. How we say it to ourselves is how our inner child perceives it. So it's really important that when we're detaching, this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. We need to detach. We need to have some separation. We need to be able to have the ability to observe and not absorb all of this toxicity. Yeah, this is a good thing. So yeah, you wanna absolutely change the way you say things to yourself. So I hope that answered the question. Is it normal to still be having epiphanies on strange behavior 4 years out? Oh, sweet baby Jesus, yes. Abso-freaking-lutely. Why? Because it's like, it's like peeling the layers of an onion, you know? It's like you're always learning new things and you're always realizing new things and you're always kind of processing, holy crap, that's what they were up to. It just happens. It just happens. The more you learn, the more you know. I feel like that old NBC thing. The more you know, the more epiphanies will happen, and they will happen throughout your lifetimes because your lifetimes. Whoa, Freudian slip. Because you will be having a different experience. You'll be able to look at it from a different perspective. You've got some, you're a little older, you're more mature, you're whatever. Yeah, we're always going to be having epiphanies about strange behaviors. Absolutely, especially if we're still willing to learn and willing to grow and willing to change and willing to, look back on the past and go, okay. So there is that. It goes on for a lifetime if you're lucky, really, seriously. I pray to God none of us ever stop learning. I pray to God that none of us ever stagnate. I pray to God that we all just have that desire to help ourselves, help others, but in a way that we offer it and don't get attached to the outcome. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, no, it goes on a lifetime. What about when you no longer think the person will change or can be fixed, but you continue to think that loving and tolerating them is helpful? That has now gone full bore into codependency, and it has gone full bore into trauma bonding. So loving them and tolerating their behavior is enabling. It's just like enabling an alcoholic to drink. It is. You might as well just hand them the bottle of tequila. You see where I'm going with that? So it's not helpful. It isn't. They don't love. Let me just say that really loud for everybody in the back. Narcissists/abusers do not love. They do not have empathy. They enjoy hurting. They enjoy sadistic hurting, emotional, physical, spiritual, whatever. They do not love. And so you think you're being helpful to them. All you're doing is feeding the tiger. You are giving them narcissistic supply. Stop. For your own sake. Stop. You're not helping them. They don't recognize that what you're doing is love. All they see is supply. So stop doing that. Absolutely. It's very codependent. So get with a good trauma therapist. Let's figure out where that came from. Who did you try to fix in your earlier life? Who's the inner child trying to fix, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is feeling the need to overextend yourself / people please a form of codependency? Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot tell you how many of my clients, when we start working on self-esteem, and we start working on the codependency, they read the Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker or Codependent No More. Melanie Beattie. There it is. Melanie Beattie. They start doing that and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I have to be working all the time. And I feel like I have to put myself on the back burner. Like it's not okay to take care of myself. I feel like I have to take care of this person and that person in this situation and that situation, da, 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 da. And then by the end of the day, I have no energy to take care of myself. Okay, that is codependent. That is people-pleasing behavior. So the biggest thing for us to learn is self-esteem, not other esteem, not getting our esteem from what we do for other people, but getting our self-esteem, knowing who we are, right? So The Disease to Please is an excellent book for learning not to people please. Codependent No More and Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie, anything by PM Melody. Any of those books would be good. The Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. I like the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi because he goes through everything. Like, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? What are you saying to yourself? What are your thoughts? What's this? What's that? And forces you to kind of go through the whole thing. A lot of people are like, well, but I want to skip that. No, don't. You're worth working on this. And a lot of us have this thinking of, no, I got to instant gratification. I got to get to the end, got to get to the end, got to get to the end. No. The Self-Esteem Workbook is like a gourmet meal. It is to be savored. It is to be enjoyed. It is to be worked through, and it is to be really mastered. So because you want your self-esteem so rock solid that if an abuser comes into your realm of being and they start pulling their bullshit communication like word salads, snarkiness, passive aggressive, any of that stuff, lying, rewriting history, gaslighting, blah, 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 you're able to go, oh, hell no. I see what you're doing and it ain't gonna fly. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, yes. So overextending yourself is a people-pleasing form of codependency. And so work on the self-esteem workbook, get with a good trauma therapist, figure out where does this come from? Who was the first person or persons that you had to please? Who taught you to put yourself on the back burner? And I love it when I ask my clients this question because they're like, well, I did. And I'm like, no, babies do not pop out of the womb thinking that they need to cook and clean and do everything else for everyone else. So this was learned. Where did you learn it from? And the resistance to that is really interesting and very telling. So if there's a real resistance to looking back into the past, mom, dad, grandparents, maybe siblings, I don't know, where did it come from? Then that's a clue that that's what needs to be worked on. So yeah, absolutely. How do I train myself to stay off my ex's social media? I keep wanting to look. Okay, so here's the thing you need to remind yourself. Narcissists want to live up here rent-free for the rest of your life. They do, which is why writing them a go fuck you letter and burning it, do not send it. Do not send it. But writing it and burning it is going to help cement in your head everything that they did. You don't need to keep track of them. You just don't. They want you to keep track of them. They want you to pay attention to them. They do. So you're getting something from this. And a lot of times what I hear from survivors is, well, but, I just wanted to see who they were dating. No, you don't need to see that. They're not going to find the love of their lives, guys. Let me make this perfectly clear. Even though they're posting stuff on social media, oh, look how perfect my life is. Look at my new supply. Look at, blah, blah, blah. We're so happy. We're so this, we're so that. It doesn't matter. They were abusive to you. You're out of their clutches. Let them go. Write down every rotten thing they did to you. And then block all of their social media. Block their phone. Block the social media. It doesn't matter. It is no longer about them. What you are doing, and I know this is where you're going to go, fuck you, Chris. And I'm going to go, yeah, I know, sorry, but here's the truth. What you are doing is you're avoiding working on yourself by putting all of your energy onto your ex. So stop. That person no longer deserves your energy at all, period. You are worthy of working on you. It is no longer about them. So stop. Block them. Don't do it. And every time you're tempted to, I want you to pull out that list of every single rotten thing they ever did to you. They don't matter anymore. You do. Mirror work. Hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You know what? It's okay for you to work on yourself. And it's okay to stop caring what that fucking asshole is doing. I love you. Be good. And then walk out. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. And it's normal to want to look. It is, at least in the beginning. However, what I find is that it's a way to avoid working on your own issues. And it's a way to keep yourself feeling like shit. It's kind of like the coulda, shoulda, woulda. Well, I could have done that. I would have done that. I should have done that. It's mental masturbation is what it is. I must look. I must look. I must look. No, you mustn't. Don't. It's not going to do you any good. And you wouldn't want to get back together with them anyway. They have shown you who they are. Believe them the first time. You're worthy of healthy relationships. You're worthy of somebody who wants to be with you. You're worthy of somebody who is loving and kind and truthful and honest and real, So just remind yourself of that. So don't look. Work on you. Okay. What to do about the narcissist's attempt to punish for setting boundaries with insults, gaslighting, etc. Besides setting more boundaries, how do you take care of yourself? You get out. They don't respect boundaries, guys. Let me make this perfectly clear. They, listen to me now, believe me later, do not respect boundaries. They never will. The rules do not apply to them. If you are dealing with a dark triad, if you're dealing with somebody who is a malignant narcissist or a malignant borderline, and they've got the crazy control thing and they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, boundaries don't apply to them. They don't. So the more boundaries you set, they look at boundaries as a challenge. Seriously, it's like, oh, I'm going to break this one. And then they have fun breaking it, and they do it on purpose. Abso-fucking-lutely. So the only thing to do with a narcissist is to get the hell out of their clutches. Seriously, you cannot change them. Let me just say that again. They don't change. They don't respect boundaries. They don't have empathy. They do not love. You cannot love them into sanity. You cannot set the proper boundaries. You cannot fix them because you did not break them. Let me say that again. You cannot fix them because you did not break them. Not your job. It's their job. And they will never do it because they do not want to admit that they've ever done anything wrong in their entire lives because they're narcissists. So gentle with you and just get away. Get with a good trauma therapist. Get out. Save yourself. You cannot save them. You cannot fix them. It's not your job. And that's the only way to do it. The only other thing that you can do is you can do gray rocking. Let's say you're stuck with them, because this whole freaking COVID stuff. Let's say you're stuck with them and you really can't get out right now. You've got to make it as safe for you as possible. Gray rocking is one way to do it, so that when they're doing their insults, gaslighting, whatever, you're just like, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. And you're not taking it in. Again, do not take anything they say personally. But you do need to be careful of your safety, because the darker they are, the more psychotic they are, the more on the malignant end of the spectrum they are, the more dangerous they are. If you can get out, get the hell out. So ways to get out. So you could call any of the shelters in your area. In the Phoenix area, we've got women's shelters. We've also got a wonderful place called Fresh Start Women's Resource Center. It's in Mesa and it's in Phoenix. And they offer housing. They offer how to do a job interview, rewriting your resume, legal services. They can't represent you in court, but they can definitely help you fill out paperwork. So for example, divorce paperwork, custody paperwork, they can do that. So yeah, you need to get the hell out of there. So you can't change them, hon. You cannot. It's not your job. So there that is. You take care of yourself by leaving. And if you cannot leave, then you gray rock and you start making your escape plans ASAP, like yesterday. So yeah. Okay, how to get over self-sabotage even after detaching. I still hear the negative words from my parents and my mom's family about my life. Always managed me down and set me up for failure. Okay, so again, get with a good therapist. Get with a good therapist. Get CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. In chapter, I think 3, he talks about putting the anger, the shame, and the blame and the guilt back onto the abuser. So every rotten thing that they've ever said about you was really about them. No normal parent wants their child to fail. Can I just say that again? No normal parent wants their child to fail. They want them to be successful. We want them to get their wings together and be able to fly on their own and go hunt and gather and do whatever they need to do on their own, because we know as adults, we're not always going to be here. So it's really, really important that you separate out. Their stuff is theirs. This is all projection on their part. Get with a good trauma therapist. Read CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, because this is all about the trauma. And then also get the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor and start working on those mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs, the messages that you got when you were a little kid. When did this happen? How did this happen? Why did you believe them? Well, because you were a little kid. That's what we do. So you got to start putting it back on them. It's not you, it's them. It's another, write them go fuck you letters. Dear mom, dear dad, dear mom's family, fuck the fuckity fuck out of fucking fuck you. Bullshit that you told me. And here's more bullshit that you told me. And fuck you. And how dare you? And God damn it. And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm not going to believe it anymore. So guess what? You don't get to live in my head rent-free one more goddamn second. Go fuck yourself sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat, you sons of bitches or daughters of bitches or whoever said this to you. Fuck you. Go to hell. Trot it out to the barbecue. Read it out loud once with gusto. And then burn it. Let it go. Because it's their bullshit, not yours. So yeah, get with a good trauma therapist. There's some trauma bonding that was done there. And you've got to start working on self-esteem as well, because none of what they told you was true. This is all their bullshit. This is all their storyline. This isn't yours. You get to rewrite the ending. So yeah, it's any and all of the negative words, write it down, put it back on the abuser, write them a go fuck you letter, burn it, let it go, get with a good trauma therapist. Don't put up with it. Don't allow them to live rent free up here. You know what, motherfuckers? I'm raising the rent. You don't get to live up here rent free one more second. Fuck off. Seriously, take your power back. They do not get to own you. You own you. And be firm about it. This is the thing. When we've been raised by abusers, we get this message very loud and clear. Don't you dare be mad at me. Don't you dare be angry at me. Don't you dare. I'll give you something to be angry about. Well, guess what? You're an adult now. You just be as angry at them as you need to be. And in fact, I think this is when we get to the point where we finally get angry because we've been hurt and we are no longer trying to please them. And, oh, well, but if I just love them a little better or harder or different or whatever, when we get past that and get to the anger, that is when the healing starts, because we're able to finally go, this, what you did was not fair. Fuck you, asshole abuser. Fuck you. Not in this lifetime. Not around me, fucker. Do you see where I'm going with that? You take your power back. So it's okay to get mad at them. And I definitely would do the go fuck you letter, burn it, get with a good trauma therapist, start working the CPTSD book by Pete Walker, and start working through all of the bullshit that they gave you. It's not true. None of it. They were talking about themselves, and let them know that in that letter. Absolutely. And I get mad on your guys' behalf. When I hear stuff like that, it's like, God damn, you sons of bitches, you fucking cunts. Sorry. Oh, God, that was a terrible word. Sorry. But it just, when somebody does that, male or female, and they say something so horrible to a child that years later, they are still suffering from the effects of those horrible things said to them. Children are like little sponges. They take everything that is said and we believe it 110%. We do. And it's really hard for us, even as adults, to separate out that what they said was about them and is not really who we are. Okay? That little inner child inside of you needs to be able to see that and needs to get angry at that, because that is what fucks us up and stays in our head. And we take it to heart. They take it to heart. Our little inner child takes it to heart and we believe it. And that's why it's important to get angry at it. Take our power back. None of what they said was true. This is all them, because healthy, normal adults, healthy, normal parents would never sabotage their child, would never intentionally say horrible, awful things about a child or anybody else for that matter, right? So we end up getting damaged because they put all of this stuff onto us and they set us up for failure and they want us to fail, because then they can point at us and go, see, you're the loser. When in fact, they're the loser. So anyway, there that is. Okay, how to deal with self-isolation. Whoa, self-isolation when it is so bad that I can't even go to the nearest grocery store without feeling extremely self-conscious about people judging me. I'm mostly home. Okay, I did a video on agoraphobia. So we get judged so much from our abuser that we start internalizing it and it becomes our internal critic. And pretty soon it's like, that's all we hear. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. Well, look at you, look at that. You need to look this way. You need to look that way. How come you're doing this? How come you're doing that? Why? What if? Oh my God, they looked at me. Oh my God, they're talking about me. Oh my God, da 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 da. And it's because our abusers were talking about us, our abusers were judging us, our abusers were doing all of this stuff, and we've internalized all of this. And so we then become our own judge, jury, and executioner. So go watch the video I did on agoraphobia. Okay, it's agoraphobia because we start isolating and we start not going out because we don't want to hear this. So I would strongly suggest get with a good trauma therapist. Get with a good trauma therapist. Start working the self-esteem workbook. Now, here is a little secret that I'm going to let you in on. People are so wrapped up in their own stuff They're not paying attention to us. We think they are. They give us a look, or they give us a glare, or they give us a something, and we immediately assume, oh my God, it's us. We did something. They're judging us. They're this. People are so wrapped up in their own heads, they're not paying attention. I can guarantee it. They're so wrapped up with their own stuff. It's not ever about us. If somebody gives us a bad look, that's their issue. We don't know them. They're strangers. They could be having a bad day. They could be having abusive family. Who knows? So we've got to stop assuming that everyone is judging us. They're not. They're really, honest to God, they're not. And here's the other thing to think about. What people think about us is truly none of our business. We can't control it. It's not our job to control it. What it is our job to do, though, is to control the internal critic, and not to allow the internal critic to just go to town and, tell us that we can't go out, or that other people are talking about us, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're not judging you. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. People are so wrapped up in their own lives. They're not. They're not. We think they are. They're not. And what other people think about us really is none of our business. What is our business is what we think about us. And it's really important to work on that, challenging that internal critic. So if that internal critic goes up and goes, oh my God, people are judging you and da 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 da. Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because you say so. People are not judging me. And if they are, that's on them. So thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because I say so. And I have a right to go out and do what I'm doing. I have a right to go shopping. I have a right to be, period. I have a right to be. That is your mantra. Every single time that thing goes off, nope, other people are not judging me. Why? Because I know they're not judging me. Because I say so. Because other people are wrapped up in their own shit. I have a right to be. I have a right to be out. I have a right to be shopping. I have a right to fill in the blank. So put that smack down on that. Get with a good therapist. Start working on that, because you're starting to get agoraphobia. It's the fear of everything. Agora is the public place. So we're afraid of going into public places. It's Greek, I think. So, fear of public places, phobia, fear. So it's really important to not allow this to make your world smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because that's what's going to happen. So you got to start working on the agoraphobia. Get with a good trauma therapist. Start working on that. Start working on the self-esteem, right? And start working on putting the smack down on this internal bully. This is the thing that made you get small in the first place. Once the abusers are out of the way, if they're still up there in your head and you've internalized it, now your world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and you do not want that. And the best middle finger to give to abusers: live well, live loud, live large, seriously. It's like, don't allow them to win. And one of the ways they try to win is by getting in our head and making us think that everybody else is talking about us or judging us or whatever. They're not. They're not. And even if they are, fuck them. It's none of our business what they're thinking. It's our business what we are thinking about ourselves. So work on that. Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. I would say probably CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Get with a good trauma therapist. Work on the agoraphobia. Seriously. And tell those thoughts. Challenge them. Absolutely challenge them. Every single time they come up. Thought, I hear you. I see you. I am not inviting you in for coffee. No way, Jose. I hear you and I see you. Guess what? People are not judging me. And if they are, it's none of my business. Have a nice day. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, start doing that. Absolutely. I've seen a malignant narcissist ordering and reading a book about narcissism. Yes. Are they trying to learn about themselves? What is their game? They're trying to be better abusers. They are. They're trying to be better abusers. You will find most trolls are narcissists, to be perfectly honest. And narcissists troll these websites. My site, Richie Grannon's site, Dana Morningstar's site, Melanie Tanya Evans' site, anything that Shahida Arabi does. We all get these narcissistic trolls because they're trying to figure out how to be a better abuser is really what it is. So that's why I say always be careful when you go onto any public site. There is the possibility of narcissistic trolls. You absolutely bet. And yes, they do read books on narcissism, not to understand themselves, but to be a better abuser. Hang on just a second. So yeah, they do. And occasionally I will get, IMs over on the Facebook page, and they start asking very odd questions that, immediately raise a red flag with me. And I'm just like, not answering that. You don't need to know that. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. But yeah, they do want to learn how to be better abusers. And yeah, they do troll these sites. They do listen to all of us on here, and they're trying to figure out how to abuse better. But here's the deal. Narcissists are stupid for the most part because their behavior always gives them away. Unless they're complete and total psychopaths and can keep up the facade for a very, very, very long time, eventually their behavior gives them away. So yeah, but yeah, they're trying to be better abusers is what they're doing. How to help the abused without karma? Whoa, that's a big question. Okay, so when you are truly helping somebody and you are not attached to it, you offer them the help. Here it is. Here's the help. Here's the books. Here's the therapy. Here's the modalities. Here's this. Here's that. And go. Right. That is not engendering karma if they want the help. So remember, you only help the willing. You can only help the willing because you can't help the unwilling. The unwilling, again, if they're covert narcissists, they'll be ask holes. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. But then they don't really want the help and they'll just drain you dry. So really, it's you offer them help, you offer it to them without strings attached. You offer it to them like, here's all the information and go, you're on your own. Have a nice life. That kind of thing. It's and also if they're asking for the help, and you can say, hey, I see you're suffering. Do you want help? That's another way to do it. So, it's like people come into our lives for a reason. They're either there to teach us something, we're there to teach them something. It's some, of course, I believe in past lives. So there's some past life contract that we're finishing, whatever. So, yeah, it's really about asking permission. So yeah, there it is. All right. Okay, kids, it's 1 o'clock and I need to stop because I'm losing my voice. So, all right, guys, have a great week. Next week, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the maladaptive communication skills that narcissists have that they use on us. So like passive aggressive, snarkiness, word salad, because people have been asking, they're like, I don't get it. Why do they do word salad? Well, it's to confuse and to get you to go into cognitive dissonance, but we'll talk more about that. So I want to talk about all the snarky little things that they do to try to manipulate, control, and keep us off kilter. So, and how to counter that and what to do once you recognize they're doing all that. So that's going to be next week. All right, kids, have a great time. Also, if you want to visit my other webpage, it's We Need to Have Fun with Chris Godinez. I've only got a few videos up there because I haven't had a whole lot of time. So it's We Need to Have Fun with Chris Godinez. I think the last couple of ones I did were on scorpions. So if you don't like scorpions, don't watch it. So anyway, there it is. All right, guys, have a great week. Be good to yourselves. Please, please be good to yourselves. Do the mirror work. Love yourself. Drink enough water. Eat healthy foods. Get some exercise. I'm a Jewish mother. I swear to God. Anyway, have a great week, guys. Be good. Bye.